All right, what is the 49ers' number one issue going into week one against the Steelers? It's a little bit of a surprise. We'll hit it next. But first, let's mention our sponsor, Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. They've got two locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. Check them out in both spots. They're open from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. Get the brisket chili. Say hi to Damon, say hi to Mary, and tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. All right, what is the number one issue for the 49ers going into the upcoming season? It's not quarterback. All the talk about the quarterback, Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, Brandon Allen, who's going to be the guy? How are they all playing? That's not the number one issue. It's the number one talked about issue, but it's not the number one issue. Oh, how about Colton McKivitz? Can he take over for Mike McGlinchey at right tackle? Colton's looked really, really good this summer as a pass protector. I think he might even be an upgrade from McGlinchey as a pass protector. So right tackle, not the primary issue. Well, how about slot corner, man? I know they had Jimmy Ward and he's gone, and now they have Isaiah Oliver and A.J. Parker and Quantrez Knight. But I mean, come on, none of those guys are Jimmy Ward. Is the slot corner the number one issue? No, it's not the number one issue because you've got some bodies there. Isaiah Oliver's a veteran. Demo Lenore can play the slot. Quantrez Knight can play the slot. They've got a number of different guys. You know, Deshaun Jameson has come out of nowhere and really looked like a pretty good player. He can play the slot corner. So I think they're fortified there. All right, Krug, well, I've heard you've been talking about Bosa and the lack of defensive end depth. It's probably defensive end, right? You got Bosa, but behind Bosa, what do you got? I mean, is Beal a player? Is Kerry Hyder too old? What about Austin Bryant? Is Alex Barrett going to be promoted from the practice squad? Do they have good enough defensive end depth? That is a major issue. And it's an issue for sure. But at the end of the day, you still have, if you get them signed, Nick Bosa and Drake Jackson on your number one unit. And you do have Cleveland Farrell and Austin Bryant, two guys who at least have done it before playing defensive end in the NFL. So I'm going to say, even though a couple weeks ago I was convinced that the defensive end depth was the number one need, now I'm going to pivot off of that. The number one need that the 49ers have right now is they need an interior run stuffer. They need somebody who's going to clog up the A-gaps. They need their 2023 version of what DJ Jones gave them a few years back. They let DJ walk off to Denver a couple years ago in free agency, and they have not replaced him. And I like the defensive tackles on paper. I like them all. Javon Hargrave's an amazing pass rusher, but he's not great against the run. Armstead is their best defensive tackle against the run by far. But they could really use another player because if you look at the rest of their defensive tackles, Kevin Givens is a pass rusher. He's a one-gap, get up the field, penetrate, go hunt the quarterback. T.Y. McGill is slightly more stout, but he's also a, get up the field, one gap, penetrate, shoot a gap, get into the backfield, tackle for loss. Kalia Davis is got freakish speed at 315, 320 pounds. But at the end of the day, he's not a stay-at-home, run defender. He's a pass rusher. He's an impressive mover at 320 pounds. Marlon Davidson's about 305 as well, played at Auburn. But, one of the things that stood out about Marlon Davidson, why he's such a good fit for this wide nine scheme, is he kind of played some defensive end, some base defensive end at Auburn. And he's a guy that's got, really good interior pass rush ability, especially for a 305-pound defensive tackle. But he just doesn't have that anchor ability against the run. So what does it all point to? Javon Kinlaw. All roads lead to Javon. And Javon's got to be Javon's not a pass rusher. Javon's got 1.5 sacks in his entire career. He doesn't sack the quarterback. He doesn't have that kind of foot speed He doesn't come off of blocks like that. He's got to be the strongest guy who dominates the A-gaps, absorbs offensive linemen, and keeps the bodies off of the Niners' fast linebackers on that second level. And when he's fresh, certain snaps, he looks like he's an ideally suited guy to do it. He's strong. He's powerful. He has to be combo blocked. If you watch him on the right set of downs, he'll waltz the center or guard right into the lap of the quarterback. I mean, he is an impressive physical specimen, and he's very, very strong. There's no question about it. But he loses leverage. He doesn't play with a bent knee. He exposes his knees, which lead to injuries. He doesn't play with tons of leverage. He doesn't stay home in the A gap and cause a pile. He's looking to rush the quarterback. He just functionally, he's enormously strong, but is it functional strength? You got to question it because he gets moved in the run game. So, man, as the 49ers are paring down their roster, if I were them, I would look around the league and see and take a deep dive on every single defensive tackle that's available. Every single one of them. There's talk that Dallas may cut Neville Gallimore. Do a deep dive on Gallimore as a run defender. Every defensive tackle that's out there, you gotta do a deep dive and figure out if they can help you as a run defender. The bottom line is you need almost all your defensive linemen to be pass rushers. At the end of the day, if a guy can do one but not the other, you typically want him to be good against the pass and be a pass rusher over a run defender. But the bottom line is this. If you can't stop the run at the point of attack right down the middle on first and second down, you could have 5 Nick Bosas and it won't matter because nobody's ever going to be in third and long. If all you ever do is sit there and you've got pass rushers, but you can't stop the run down the middle, 1, you're going to get a full dose of it, and 2, you're going to get into an awful lot of 3rd and 1, awful lot of 3rd and 2. You know, they're going to run on first down because you showed that you can't stop it. They're going to get to 2nd and 6, and they're going to run again. They're going to get to 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to run again. And you're going to have all this money tied up in these edge rushers, and they're not going to have any effect on the game because you cannot stop the run in the A-gaps. So more important than quarterback, more important than Colton McKivitz and right tackle, more important than the slot corner, more important than defensive end depth behind Nick Bosa and Drake Jackson is, do the 49ers have any interior defensive tackle that can shut down the A-gap against the run? And whether it's until proven otherwise, it's Kinlaw, but they may cut Kinlaw at the deadline and go replace him with somebody who's really, really stout against the run. Something to look for, because the one thing you can't do is you can't be horrible against the run inside. Otherwise, there's no reason to even have Nick Bosa, because you're never going to get to 3rd and long. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That is the number one need at the cutdown, getting a defensive tackle like a DJ Jones, like a Hassan Ridgeway. They need somebody to plug that middle. Appreciate all you guys for supporting the Krug Show. Thanks to our title sponsor, Pig in a Pickle. And once again, thanks for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.